Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Voiceover Work and Audiobook Sampler. Where do you listen? Today is Monday, May 15th, 2023. In his latest book, Master Your Dopamine, Nick Trenton tells us, in our modern age, we're constantly flooded with dopamine. That might sound like a good thing, but it means that we constantly require more and more stimulation to feel simple happiness. It's the root of why we can't accomplish what we want and why we can't even feel what we want. Today's episode is the audiobook preview of Nick Trenton's book, Master Your Dopamine. The sun is setting over the bustling city, casting a warm orange hue over the skyline. It's a beautiful sight and one that used to bring joy to Jolie every night. But she can't help but feel something else, like there's something missing from her life. Little did she know, it's all due to the dysregulation of a little chemical messenger in her brain called dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter responsible for regulating emotion and motivation, among other things, such as reward-monitored behavior, working memory, and executive functioning. Having low levels of dopamine can make people feel lethargic and less excited about things, even things that once made them really happy. Just like Jolie can no longer find joy looking at the sunset, even though it used to be one of her favorite things in the world. But what exactly are neurotransmitters and what do they do? Dopamine is a naturally occurring brain molecule within the body that acts as a neurotransmitter, sending information between neurons. Neurons are nerve cells that make up the nervous system, which consists of the brain and the spinal cord, the central nervous system, as well as nerves that connect to the rest of the body, the peripheral nervous system. It's a feel-good molecule, says mental health educator Tanya J. Peterson. It's a part of the reward system, and when the brain creates dopamine in reaction to what people do, they feel good and want to do more of whatever it is that makes them feel as if they are psychologically thriving. This, in turn, leads to increased dopamine production. Thus, dopamine plays an integral role in many of people's most cherished experiences, like the thrill of exciting activities and the joy of connecting with others. Dopamine is often released when people encounter something pleasurable or rewarding and is a key player in improving their mood and reinforcing behavior patterns. Interestingly, it can even be artificially stimulated by certain drugs that trigger its release. It's no wonder, then, why dopamine has earned its reputation as the feel-good neurotransmitter. Its involvement in amplifying positive moments in people's lives makes them feel great. When levels of dopamine are low in the brain, people can experience feelings of depression or lethargy, which can lead to an overall lack of motivation or enjoyment in activities, even ones that once made them happy. Examples of activities that trigger dopamine release include winning a game, learning something new, getting praise from someone important, or enjoying a tasty meal. More recently, research has indicated dopamine may also play a role in addiction and cravings, as well as feelings of nostalgia. In either case, it's clear that dopamine plays an important role in how people experience the world. The neuroscience of dopamine addiction is fascinating and complex, and can be debilitating when individuals become reliant on it. It's like the brain's way of punishing humans for seeking out rewards that aren't necessarily vital for human survival, but can often be difficult to unhook from, things like drugs, gambling, or compulsive eating. Underneath all these behaviors lie neurochemical reactions that cause some to become addicted by activating pleasure centers and inadvertently reinforcing the behavior of reward seeking. Understanding the neurochemistry behind this type of addiction can help researchers develop ways to better treat those affected by it. Thanks for joining us today for this episode from Voice Over Work and audiobook sampler. We hope you'll pass along our web address, newtonmg.com, to your friends and colleagues, and please leave a review on whatever platform you found this episode. This has been a Newton Media Group production. Join us next week for the chapter-by-chapter preview of today's featured book, Nick Trenton's Master Your Dopamine.